After 1,000 years, they finally banned Mystic Mine. And to be honest, the rest of the ban list didn't really matter except for like 2 cards. So I'm still playing this dog shit. Yeah, it's weird. Like I said in the previous video, I've never played a Tier 0 deck before this, but I'd imagine this is the closest that Tier 0 has gotten since Necroz to being like an actually fun format. Like, the mirror match for this deck is actually extremely engaging and extremely fun and extremely, extremely skill-based. Sometimes this deck can be kind of just click buttons until you get a full board of Dweller, Rukalos, and Elf, but you know what? In the mirror match, it's not that simple, and with Bystials now in the format, it's gotten a lot different. Differences between this and the previous list is, of course, now Herald of Orange Light is at 1, so we're having outs to not only the Flu board going second is a lot harder, and D-Shifter playing against D-Shifter is now a lot harder too, because you don't have the 3 Herald. And Macro DeFi being in the format, I'm expecting Flu to become a lot more powerful. So I built this deck not only to hit the mirror match, but to play against the Flu matchup a lot better as well. So, yeah, that's just getting into the list. 2 Rhino still. I almost want to play 3 of this now that I've cut Agido, because you don't have enough orange lights to justify playing it. But I love not having to worry about milling this or not, but I do sometimes want to see this more. It's the best starter out of the bunch, except for maybe Merly. However, I do think this at 2 is fine, especially since Shiren is searchable. All the level 4s, some of themselves will let you get to Dweller, so you're not really having problems getting rank 4s on the field turn 1. And if not, I've built this deck specifically not have to worry about that if that is the case. 3 of everything else, though. These are all pretty standard now. I don't really need to explain these. This card's busted. Playing on our turn is so good with so easy with this card. I'm also actually playing proper Bystials this time. 3 Magna and 2 Druis. I thought about playing 1 Sornier instead of the second Druis, but it's not come up that I've needed a different name other than Druis. And to be honest, Druisform is better against like random rogue shit anyway. And we see a lot of Despy at my locals, so this actually does come up a lot more. And then of course 3 Magnum. This card's busted in the mirror. You just gotta be careful. The first person to use this usually loses, because if this thing gets in the graveyard and your opponent has access to Dark, then they can take this and then they can have double follow up on your turn. So that's a lot harder to play the mirror. For Ishizu shit, 3 Kelback, 3 Keldo, 3 Medora. Like I said, I cut Agido. Agido is by far the worst one to open. It doesn't do anything turn 1, and it's very, very difficult to resolve unless you already open cracked. The effect in hand is already super duper hard to resolve unless you've opened cracked. You have to open like Havnus, and you have to mill a Keldo off of Havnus, or you have to be playing a mirror and open Havnus plus 1 of these, or you have to draw into it and then just not use it for some reason. So it being in the hand sucks, and I'm not playing Diviner, so it's a lot harder to get in the graveyard, and milling 10 does feel good, don't get me wrong, but it's just not worth playing into the tier board with another Agido, so it became more and more cuttable as time went on. That's it for the monsters. And I also am not main decking the Orange Light. I'll get to that when I get to my side deck. 3 copies of Planet. This card's busted. Terraforming. Scream Heartbeat. I'm still playing Heartbeat. I don't know how good Flu is going to be with Macro and DeFi coming back to 3, so I want to be prepared for it just in case. And then I'm still playing Scream. I almost want to bump this to 2, just because opening this plus any tier is combo, but it's really, really bricky to open things without, or these kind of things without other cards. So, and this thing doesn't do anything when you top deck it unless you already have combo. Instant Fusion, this card should have been banned, as well as like Curious and other shit. And then this is where I differ from most lists. I'm on 3 copies of Tactics and 3 copies of Droplets. So going into this format, I don't want to be underprepared for Flu, because I'm expecting that to be one of the bigger decks at my locals. So I was debating between either this or Dark Ruler, and I decided to go off this because this can trigger your fairies in hand, Dark Ruler, and this can actually be an okay card to just set. Sometimes you can just trigger Kelback in hand if you've completely bricked by using this. So the ability to use it going first and second, as well as being able to use it to break boards, is in my opinion, more usable than Dark Ruler. I also thought about Super Pulling the main deck, but against Flu, it does literally nothing, because if they open the Barrier Statue, there's no relevant Instant Fusion target. or not, excuse me, not instant fusion, super poly target that can out the barrier statue board. So, and then tactics, this is for the mirror and also flu, because both of those decks tend to play during your main phase when you normal summon. So this is pretty good. That's it for the spells. Traps, one of each. Sulik, Crime. If I would, I almost want to cut Crime. This thing doesn't come up enough, and the effect to add something back doesn't come up. It's outside of game 2 and 3, maybe, just because sometimes cherries matters. But if you're at a game state where you're getting hit with cherries, you're already winning, so I'm not really super worried about that. And then Sulik is busted. This is, if I was to play any more traps, I would play a second of this. I have played 2 of this in the past, and I love this card. So, yep. Extra deck. Rukalos, Kikalos, and Kaleido Hearts 1/1/1. You don't need more. If you're gonna, the only time this is gonna matter is against like maybe Despia, where this is just gonna get banished off Mirror Jade. But if they have cherries, it doesn't matter anyway, because you might as well just keep the extra slot, because they're always gonna banish the 1. And you can always put this back off of a shuffler or one of your fusions, and to make Draco's Pelia or something like that. Garura, Mud Dragon, and Draco's Pelia. These are pretty good. Yep. Rank Xyz monsters, Dweller, Baguska, Redo, or Zeus. I was on Beatrice, and I haven't played Wallow yet, but any rank 6 I ever made was not amazing. They were only good going second against the mirror match, where you would resolve Magnamud. And I'd rather use that extra deck slot for something that comes up against more matchups, like this dog shit. This is hilarious. Every time I've made this, I've won the game, because if they out this, or if they don't have an out to this, you win. If they do out it, you break their board. It's really good. And the rest of the links, Sprint, Elf, these cards are staples now, and Dark. This card's so fucking good, dude. Taking your opponent's Merly or your opponent's like Magnamut or something is insane. You can take Kikalos as long as it was properly summoned. Oh my god, this thing is so fucking good. I've wanted to play the Earth one in the past. I do not have the extra deck room. If there was anything I would cut, to be honest, it would probably be the IP Masquerena and the Avramax. But, I don't know, this is funny. I like funny cards. If it's probably less optimal, but I think it's entertaining. Side deck, this is the one that's the most likely to change over the next few days, especially since the ban list is not completely in effect yet, so I need more testing against that in an actual competitive environment, outside of just randos on DB or some of the shitters in my Discord. So yeah, 1 Orange Light. This is for exactly flu. The side patterns of this deck is a little weird. You side out, if you're going second, you side out 6 cards. You side out the 5 Bastiles and the Crime against flu, and then you side in 3 Droll, 3 Regeki. And then if you're going first, you side out the same cards, but you put in 2 Banshee, 2 Zombie. Here, let me scoot these up. 2 Zombie World, 2 Banshee, the Orange Light, a Duster, and that's 6. And then depending on if you're going hard second, like you know where your opponent's going into game 3, you can side in 9. You just need to figure out what the other 3 would be. Probably like a Miller and 2 Shufflers, just because specifically in flu, it doesn't really matter. Otherwise, a lot of these cards already hit and stuff that's in the format. The mirror match is hit by just playing good. This deck is already playing really fine in the mirror match. It really does come down to who plays better. It's not really dependent on siding as much, which is kind of why I like this format. And if you're again playing against sprites, Droll is also really good, and then you can play these as well. Then short of them playing like anti-spell going second or going first, then you're probably going to be fine. Yeah, that's about it. What do I think of this format? Ban list as it is, I'm okay with it. I've been saying Mystic Mind needs to go forever. I think Floodgates are the worst thing about modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, except they keep bringing more of them back. 3 skill drain, 3 macro, 3 DeFi. Why do you do this to me? But whatever, you know, we're a fucking hypocrite. We'll play this shit if we get to it. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed or just want to talk shit about this deck, I love talking in the comments. You'd be surprised how often I'm in the comments, no matter how far out this video is. So if you think you have a question, comment, or concern, or just want to chit chat or call me a shitter, go into the comments and I will probably respond with something funny. Have a good one. Peace.